I spent 4 years building my company with someone I thought was my brother. Yesterday, I found out he had been quietly siphoning clients to a shell LLC for 6 months. The worst part wasn't the money. It was the realization that while I was bleeding for the mission, he was bleeding me dry. You log off at 6 p.m. The laptop lid closes with a metallic snap. But the mental exhaustion follows you into the hallway, into your car, and sits beside you at the dinner table. It is not the workload. The spreadsheets are manageable. The deadlines are predictable. It is them, the people in the neighboring cubicles, the voices on the Zoom call, the passive-aggressive signatures in the email threads. Modern HR departments offer a script: set boundaries, communicate your needs, practice active listening. This is a failure of logic. These tools assume the other party is operating in good faith. The ancients understood a different reality. You cannot negotiate with poison. You do not communicate with a predator to make it less hungry. You identify the predator and you remove its access to you. The solution is the Stoic 2x2 matrix. This is not a tool for getting along. It is a tool for clinical categorization. We will use this matrix to identify the real toxic presence in your office and cut them out without saying a word. The modern office is a Roman Senate. It is an arena of perceived status, hidden agendas, and strategic betrayals. The architecture has changed, but the primate brain has not. In the Senate, a man did not just vote. He positioned himself. He whispered in the right ear to ensure his rival's downfall. He wore a mask of civic duty while sharpening a blade. Your office functions on the same frequency. The quick sync is a reconnaissance mission. The CCing the manager is a public execution. To survive this, you stop viewing coworkers as friends or enemies. You view them as data points on a grid. The matrix splits your environment into 4 distinct biological types: the leech, the assassin, the ghost, and the shield. The leech is the most visible drain. Physically, they are the person whose desk is a graveyard of half-finished coffee cups and unfiled papers. They miss the Tuesday deadline, then spend Wednesday explaining why the system lagged. They are the ones who attend every meeting but contribute 0 actionable ideas, yet somehow find a way to claim a percentage of the victory during the final presentation. The leech operates on a parasitic loop. They identify the most competent person in the room and attach themselves to that person's output. They don't want the work, they want the credit for the work. When you interact with a leech, you feel a specific physical sensation, a tightening in the chest, a sudden drop in energy. This is your nervous system reacting to a resource drain. The Stoic approach to the leech is not anger. Anger is an investment of energy, and the leech feeds on energy. The strategy is total documentation. You stop the verbal agreements. You stop the "I'll just handle it" promises. Every interaction becomes a paper trail. You move the relationship from a social contract to a legal one. When the leech has no shadow to hide in, they migrate to a different host. The assassin is the most dangerous entity in the Senate. They are the star employee. Their KPIs are flawless. Their slide decks are aesthetically perfect. They arrive first and leave last. On paper, they are the ideal colleague. But the trust axis is at 0. The assassin uses competence as a weapon. They don't miss deadlines. They use the deadline to expose your minor error. They don't forget to CC the boss. They strategically omit you from the thread to make it appear you were out of the loop. The assassin's smile never reaches their eyes. It is a social mask designed to lower your defenses. Observe the assassin's communication. It is often characterized by the polite knife. Phrases like "per my last email" or "correct me if I'm wrong," but are not requests for clarification. They are markers of dominance. They are signaling to the hierarchy that you are the weak link. To the assassin, you apply the rule of strategic distance. You do not compete with them on performance. That is their home turf. You do not try to win them over with kindness. That is seen as a vulnerability. You treat them like a hazardous chemical. Handle with extreme caution. Use protective gear, documentation, and never leave them alone with your unfinished work. You remain polite, professional, and completely opaque. Give them nothing that can be repurposed into a weapon. The ghost is the nice coworker. They are the one who remembers your birthday. They bring donuts on Fridays. They are genuinely kind, empathetic, and loyal, but they provide 0 utility. The ghost is the person who spends 4 hours brainstorming, but cannot produce a single usable paragraph of text. They are the ones who apologize profusely for a mistake that they will likely repeat next week. They are high on the trust axis because they have no ambition to betray you, but they are low on the performance axis because they lack the discipline or skill to execute. The danger of the ghost is the emotional trap. Because they are likable, you feel a moral obligation to carry their weight. You find yourself staying until 8 p.m. to fix their errors because they're such a good person. This is a category error. You are confusing personal kindness with professional competence. The Stoic response to the ghost is the boundary of utility. You decouple your affection for the person from your evaluation of their work. You stop rescuing them. When the ghost fails, you allow the failure to be visible, not out of malice, but for the sake of truth. By shielding the ghost, you are not being kind. You are enabling a dysfunction that eventually burns you out. The shield is the rarity, high performance, high trust. They are the anchor of the department. They fix the critical bug at 2 a.m. without asking for a shout-out in the Slack channel. They give you honest feedback in private and defend your work in public. The shield does not play the Senate game. They are not interested in the optics of power. They are interested in the integrity of the result. When you find a shield, your sole professional objective is to protect that relationship. In a toxic environment, shields are often targeted by assassins because the shield's competence is a threat and their integrity is an annoyance. The shield is the only person in the matrix worth your genuine emotional investment. Now we apply the Stoic dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that the primary task in life is to distinguish between what is up to us and what is not. The personality of your coworker is not up to you. The corporate culture of your company is not up to you. The fact that your boss promotes the assassin over the shield is not up to you. What is up to you is the categorization. When you stop asking, why are they like this? And start asking, where do they fit on the matrix? The emotional charge disappears. You stop hating the leech, you simply recognize a parasite. You stop fearing the assassin, you simply recognize a competitor. You stop pitying the ghost, you simply recognize a lack of utility. The goal is apatheia, not a lack of feeling, but a freedom from suffering. Suffering occurs when you expect a leech to be productive or an assassin to be loyal. This is a logical fallacy. Expecting a wolf to act like a sheep is the source of your frustration. When you align your expectations with the matrix, the toxicity of the office ceases to be a personal attack and becomes a weather pattern. You do not get angry at the rain for getting you wet. You simply bring an umbrella. The matrix is your umbrella. The next time you feel that surge of resentment during a meeting, do not react. Do not communicate. Do not seek a boundary. Look at the person speaking, assess the output, assess the integrity, place them in the quadrant. Once the label is applied, the person disappears and only the data remains. You are no longer a victim of office politics. You are an observer of a predictable system. Log off. Leave the Senate. The matrix is the only thing you take home with you. The transaction of dominance is complete. The office empties. The heavy door shuts, leaving only the deafening silence of an empire built on fear, slowly fracturing under its own weight. The isolation is no longer a tactic, it is a permanent condition.